Fantastic day to one and all. I'm at Sansura Restaurant, a Thai restaurant in Antigua, and I'm with Robert, who is he's a character. And my wife would always say to me, "Why do you attract such bizarre people in your life?" And I said, "Well, I don't want to know anyone normal." And Robert, he is a journalist,
and also a teacher,
and probably a couple other dozen things. So we're going to have a casual conversation with Robert, because when I find someone interesting, I want to share the experience with you. He's one of our newest ambassadors of kindness, joined a week or so ago. And Robert, tell us about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness.
Well, you've been very kind to invite me to do this. And life is, I guess the Jews say, l'chaim, to life. It's a celebration. So for me, the present is the gift, being present. And when we met, which you and I met across the street a few weeks ago, I was interested in seeing if we could have another experience together. And we're in this restaurant, Samsara, that's a vegan macrobiotic restaurant. So it's filled with many, many seekers of making food their medicine.
As it is. Food is sort of like a medicine.
Depends on what you eat.
It could be a poison, I guess, as
That's
well.
Right. It could be terrible. What's good for one person, everybody's different. So I came to Antigua 18 years ago. I'm a friend. There's a peace church called Mennonite. I'm not a Mennonite. I'm a Quaker. And but I'm a non-evangelical, quiet seeker of the light. And so my father believed in finding kindness and being fantastic, so that's why I wanted to meet you again.
And today is World Kindness Day.
That's right.
Apropos for your dad wanting to be kind.
And my father's birthday.
And your father's birthday. Wonderful.
So
November
my father-
13th.
This is Maya is my favorite friend right here.
Oh, wow. That's a huge
My
dog.
favorite nun. This is Maya's non-human.
Yeah, he's a beauty.
Yeah?
He's a beauty.
She's very camera shy.
Yeah, yes.
She's probably hungry.
All dogs are hungry.
So my friend is also rescues animals.
Okay.
And I believe in being kind and fantastic to non-human animals. They're very innocent.
Well, do you remember the 3 commitments to kindness?
No.
5-year-olds remember it, Robert. Come on.
Yeah. I have a slight concussion in my memory.
The first commitment is to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
The hardest, most important commitment in life.
Right.
Second commitment is to be kind to all others, including the creatures.
Yes.
And third commitment is to be kind to Mother Earth.
Yes.
Those 3 commitments solve all the problems in the world, literally.
Well, that's...
How could you forget?
When I asked you here, I was hoping that we could do that.
Okay.
But it takes time.
Well, I guess if you had a concussion, yes, but typically, I've been doing this for 5 years. I get 15,000 people following the philosophy. You can't forget 3 commitments. I mean, they're so simple, and they're not simple to do, but they're simple to remember. 3 commitments: be kind to yourself, others, and the planet.
Good. You know, I've been reading this author, and I went to go see him in Vietnam.
Do they have it in a smaller size? Because that's too big for me.
Maybe. You know, it depends. I think once I saw a little Bible that was about that big, you know. It's
Looks like you have more phones than I do.
I have 5 cell phones.
There you
I
go.
have a lot of computers. But I don't just work as a journalist. I actually have a company, my own company, and I do workshops in holistic and esoteric learning methods.
Okay.
Pedagogy.
That's wonderful.
And so it's an integrated wellness program.
Well, I'm going to sort of retreat here, and we're going to invite people like you to share their knowledge with guests. It's called a fire resort, fire retreat.
When? Do you know? Do you have a timeline?
Well, do you have a few dollars on you I can start it with? No, it should be very soon because I'm looking for some funding. But FIRE stands for Fantastic Inspirational Rejuvenation Experience. So when they come to Antigua to stay at our fire retreat, they meet people like you, which inspires them. and they get rejuvenated, and they eat fantastic food, and they in an incredible environment like this,
Right.
and they go home a new person.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been asked or invited to help conduct programs. That's why when I met you, I knew nothing about you, and I tend to like to be able to look in someone's eyes and do things in person.
It's all about
when
the eyes.
When you have a mild concussion, you're not supposed to go on screens too much, and everybody's on screens all the time, and sometimes it takes away from our humanity.
Well, I had a huge concussion. I actually had amnesia from an automobile accident, and it was very strange to have amnesia, to not know who you are. It's very bizarre.
I never had that experience, but I was driving. I went into
It's not
a
pleasant.
sinkhole. I'm sure. So the program that I'm teaching has been involved 240,000 people. It's called the Baldrige Program, and that's my father, whose birthday is today. He was born in 1921. Started this program very, very simply, and he only had an idea, and then he planted the seed and it grew.
We start with
Now
an
it's
idea.
much smaller. And so some of my students were from Brown University, Johns Hopkins, Princeton, and Williams.
Wow.
Over 400 schools and colleges. But now I'm revitalizing it. Because of COVID, it wasn't really possible to teach in person. And that seemed, it lacked what I thought was a certain amount of authenticity. And, you could be teaching an 18-year-old, they put up a screen picture, and they could be doing anything.
Yeah.
And
Well,
not paying
I think everybody has ADHD, because
Yeah.
if you can think of just one thing,
Yeah.
you're pretty you're an imbecile. Thinking almost.
Well, and also I work with using the senses when we study. So I conduct workshops. People pay me to come into other workshops, and what ends up happening is everybody benefits. It's also involves peer-to-peer learning. So not only are you learning, but you're teaching the person next to you, because everybody's body is very different. So I had a chance to travel with and document the Dalai Lama. And a lot
You met the Dalai Lama?
I was invited to work on a book and travel with him.
You traveled with the Dalai Lama?
Yes.
So you know him
I do.
personally?
Yes, I've had a personal contract and got to know him.
Because I haven't followed him, but for a while I was reading some of his things, and he says the same thing I'm saying, but he has a bit bigger following.
So in 1994, I got a book contract to work on a project that involved being invited to his home and to meet a number of Tibetans that were suffering from various forms of torture and had escaped from Tibet.
So let's not skip over the Dalai. How was your relationship? I mean, how was your friendship? What did you learn from him?
So I met him before the book proposal was made.
I want to meet him.
Okay, well, you better do it fast. He's not, he's getting older.
Yeah, so, so am I.
But yeah, time is like sand in a bottle. So I never put anybody on a pedestal. I'm a Quaker, and we believe that.
So what is a Quaker?
Quaker was started in the 1600s. It was part of a Protestant movement that believed that if you want to communicate with God, that you don't need a priest or a pope or a Dalai Lama, that each person has God within them. And George Fox started the religion. He was put in jail for over a decade, and he was beaten and humiliated, and he ended up having all these followers because at that time there was a lot of corruption. The Church of England had split off from the Catholic Church, and so the Quakers, it was a derogatory term. It was like the N-word. What happened was they were arrested and thrown in jail, and they were very honest business people. And they even went into towns and stripped off their clothes and ran around naked and said, "We're all children in the eyes of God naked." So they were pretty radical theologians.
Sounds like the beatniks before the beatniks.
Yeah, and
I'm a beatnik.
Some of them were poets, and some of them were doing art later on. And some, recently I did 5 pages in the New York Times. When I say recently, it's all time, sand in a bottle, on a Quaker artist named James Turrell. Time magazine said he's the greatest artist.
So there's a lot of Quakers today?
No, there's very few.
Very few, okay.
So, but it happens that they're like in the Protestant religion or in the Catholic religion, you have these groups in the tree of life. And some of them are evangelical, some of them are not. They're just silent. I'm part of the silent Quaker tradition. But in Guatemala, there are 35,000 Quakers in Chicamula. And Chicamula is where I was paid to go to a conference, and that was the first time I came to Guatemala 18 years ago. Long before that, I wanted to meet the Dalai Lama, His Holiness. And I had, in this restaurant, they have mandalas, and they have a library. You asked me about a library? They have a library here, actually. And so in order to meet him, I meditated a lot on mandalas. And then when I turned 26, I was invited to go to a wedding of a very close friend of mine, and the Dalai Lama and a small group of monks were at the wedding. And we didn't talk.
That's how you met him. That's great.
That was when I met him, and that was 1985. And then, because I live in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I grew up off of Gramercy Park in New York City, and so when I was able to be in the city, I also have worked in Paris and Venice, Italy. I spend most of my life each year in Paris and in Venice, Italy. And when I was in Paris, I went to see my friend's grandfather's grave in Père Lachaise Cemetery. And in that cemetery, I overheard 3 women that were next to me in a cafe saying that one of them was going to see the Dalai Lama and work on a book. I was with a man that looked homeless, but he owned 3 chateaus, missing some teeth. He looked a little bit like Gaudi. You know, Gaudi smelled bad and he looked awful, and some people didn't like him, but he's building the biggest cathedral in Barcelona, that's ever built for over 100 years. It's being built. So I went up to this woman without the homeless-looking guy, and I said, I overheard you're going to see His Holiness. I'd like to do a photograph of you before and after you come back. And she said, oh my God, that's a miracle, and I would love that. And I said, are you the author? And she wasn't. So I asked her to introduce me to the author, and eventually she did, and he invited me to work on a book project, which meant to meet His Holiness Dalai Lama and travel with him. And so, my teacher for that experience was Robert Thurman, who's the foremost authority academically on Tibetan Buddhism in New York City. He's the chair of the Religious Studies Department at Columbia University, and he taught me some things, and he has a very close relationship with His Holiness as a scholar, a friend. So, so that was in 1994 that I did that trip. And now he's getting much older. He spends part of his time in the United States, part of it traveling, but not as much as he used to. About why I was interested in your project, and I've been very blessed to meet you and to hear about your project, and I meet people very spontaneously. We only met for a very short period of time, and I came and saw some of the good work that you were doing last Saturday, or whenever I came to meet you. And then I came back and I was late, so I missed you the second time. So that's why I asked you to come here. My goal is to help people live up to their dreams through my programs, holistic healing and workshops and esoteric learning. But I believe we're on the planet to all learn from each other.
Yes.
And ultimately world peace is one.
Well, we're all students and we're all teachers as well, I suppose.
I think we're all children in the eyes of God, but I'm not overly religious.
No.
So I've photographed and met many spiritual leaders of many different groups. My father always said, don't follow a guru, you're the guru. So he had a very Zen philosophy. And that of God in each of us is something that I believe helps take us to a higher level where we can be kind to others, and self-care is a very important part of that.
Well, that's the first commitment. It's the hardest and most important commitment, to love yourself unconditionally.
Yes.
Eat healthy, think positive, exercise, everything in moderation. I've got a list of 100 things.
Do you ever do Tai Chi exercise?
I was trying it, and it didn't seem to do much for me. So
I'm interested in people's energy, and I'm interested in here I spend about 6 months of the year in Guatemala, and then I travel to other places. And I have an email. It's quakerstory@yahoo.com. It's very simple. And I'm also interested in not just in spiritual awakening that is non-denominational, but in how we can, through our actions, be the change we want to see in the world.
Well, I'm in 147 countries,
Yeah.
and it's a simple philosophy, 3 commitments. I mean, you have a very good memory, so you just say.
I'm struggling a little bit with languages, but I do. I don't have a lot of.
But anytime I could find a program that helps our community.
Yes.
Because as you might know, there's no community, especially in America. In Antigua, yes, but the community is lost. When I was a child, when you were a child, we played in the streets, and we knew our neighbors, and all those good things. But the problem is today is there's no communication. It's electronic. There's a lot of problems in the world, and the 3 commitments really solve it all.
I don't call them problems. I call them situations.
Yeah.
So problems, I think, humanizes the possibilities of taking the situation.
Certainly not a good situation. I call it the insanity of humanity because of what's going on in the planet.
My father had a lot of radical ideas. His name was Ken Baldridge. Today was his birthday. 1921 he was born. And he grew up being cradled on an oxen his mother and father were hand plowing the fields.
What state?
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah. So, and
certainly was a different world in 1921.
Yeah, he was born then, and by the time he was 3, he was riding an oxen while his father was hand plowing.
Sure.
So I'm really interested in how we turn lemons into lemonade. So the idea was that there was a lot of strife. My father's father was in World War I in France, in a foxhole. And the munitions came in, and he was sandwiched in between a lot of dead people. And he was the only one who lived. And so he got the Purple Heart, and then he had a metal plate inserted into his brain. And he couldn't farm when he came back to see my grandmother, so he started to make jewelry. So he took this, and then he made jewelry for the rest of his life. And so then when my father had to go to war, World War II, his mother was so worried that she didn't want him to be injured. So she had taught him how to play the flute, and she said, enlist as the piccolo player in the Navy band.
Oh, good idea.
And they always need a piccolo player, and so he played in 2 wars, World War II and Korea, he played the piccolo.
Wow.
When he got out, he started reading Gandhi, and he came up with the phrase, a radical is a liberal. A liberal is a radical with 2 children. And so he became a pacifist, and then he had 2 children and became more liberal. And our whole family was involved with kind of Renaissance learning through the arts about healing and health. My mother was a quasi-Christian scientist, so she believed that we had to be spiritualists. That our healing would be not just through the food we eat, but spiritually. And she never proselytized. So that's why we're in this restaurant Samsara, because holistically, for me, the energy of the food and the space.
Yeah, I'll have to try it one day. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm not hungry right now. I'm on a very special diet. But I'm being guided and consulted by the great teacher of healing.
Well, it's good to have a history. You've got your father, your grandfather, and that's pretty cool. I'm actually the 3rd. I'm the 3rd. My son's the 4th.
Yeah.
But I know nothing about my father or my grandfather.
Right. Well, not knowing sometimes is an advantage because it's important to.
Gives you freedom.
Yeah, that's right. And so every person is different. So we all have a story.
Yeah, I know. That's why I love interviewing people.
And I appreciate the interview. And I'll tell you, I'm working on a project in Paris, and the idea is to not unsimilar to your idea. So I also play music, and I don't know if you can see this.
LeGrandVoisin.com.
Yes. So I'm part of that project, which is to embrace people of all persuasions, religious and ethnic backgrounds.
To play music? To play music?
No,
No.
to build community.
Oh, to build community. Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yes, yes.
I'm building a global community.
Exactly. So there's a lot of
I'm not very big in France yet, and I hope to be one day. I'm big in Africa, the movement.
well, yeah, these alliances can make a difference.
Yeah, of course.
The idea
See,
of-
I like when everybody wins. This isn't for me. The Foundation for World Harmony, the Kindness Revolution, is not for me. It's for the planet. Literally.
Well, it's nice to meet you because the catalyst for change, I believe, is grassroots. And so whenever I also record and interview stories, and I often find that most of them are around creative approaches to living. And
Well, I hope you
outside
could
of
write
that-
something on the Kindness Revolution, because I call it the world's best kept secret. Because I made it so simple for humans. 3 commitments. 5-year-olds, when I give I say kids a year later after giving a speech, and they'll yell, "Dr. Fantastic," and I'll say, "What are the 3 commitments?" And I remember the kid said, "Love yourself, love others, love the planet."
Can we take one break?
Sure.
Just for one
Well,
second?
we can wrap this up.
I just want to check
I just want you to give a
Thank you.
message. Well, give a message to the world. The world's watching. What message do you have for the world that they need to know from you?
Well, I believe that
Look into the camera.
I believe that peace begins with us. And the 3 commitments that you shared with me, I believe, are in essence like a golden rule. Do unto others as you would do unto yourself. So the possibilities are infinite, and our time on this planet is finite.
Very good.
We are here to be humble servants of doing good in the world and being kind to others, and that's why we met.
Well, I can't save the planet without your help. Doing it alone is going to take too long. But with people like you on board, we have a better chance of making the world a kinder, cleaner place for future generations.
And that's why we're here.
Yes, we're here. Thank you, Robert. Have a fantastic World Kindness Day.
Thanks.
Welcome to the Be Fantastic channel, where you will find many fantastic interviews with amazing people,
Visit the top world museums,
incredible zoos,
beautiful national parks.
special events, and much more.
These videos are designed to educate,
Inspire.
motivate, and entertain you.
We hope you will enjoy them.
Join the Be Fantastic philosophy.
Please subscribe.
Like and share.